Have you ever wondered about the story of a man who stood up to the most powerful tyrant of his time, armed only with a staff and unwavering faith? This is the incredible story of Prophet Musa, or Moses, a tale of miracles, courage, and divine intervention that has inspired millions for centuries. Our story begins in ancient Egypt, a land ruled by a ruthless king known as Pharaoh. He was so arrogant that he declared himself a god and enslaved the children of Israel, the Bani Israel. One night, Pharaoh had a terrifying dream. A fire from Jerusalem swept through Egypt, burning everything except the homes of the Bani Israel. His advisors interpreted this as a prophecy: a boy would be born among the enslaved people who would one day overthrow him. Consumed by fear, Pharaoh issued a horrific decree: every newborn son among the Bani Israel was to be killed. It was a time of unimaginable grief and terror. But Allah's plan is always greater than the plans of men. In this very year of persecution, a baby boy was born. This boy was Musa. His mother was filled with dread, but Allah inspired her. He told her to place her baby in a basket and set him afloat on the river Nile. Can you imagine the heartbreak and the trust it took? She was told, "Do not fear and do not grieve. Indeed, we will return him to you and make him one of the messengers." So, with a heavy heart, she placed her precious child into the river, entrusting him to God's care. The basket floated down the Nile, directly towards the palace of the very man who wanted to destroy him, Pharaoh. It was Pharaoh's own wife, Akhirah, who found the basket. Her heart filled with love for the baby. She pleaded with Pharaoh, "He might be a joy to my eyes and yours. Do not kill him, perhaps he may be of benefit to us, or we may adopt him as a son." And so, in an amazing twist of fate, Musa was raised in the house of his greatest enemy. But there was a problem. The baby Musa refused to be nursed by any of the palace's wet nurses. His sister, who had been following the basket from a distance, cleverly approached the royal family. She suggested a woman she knew who could nurse him. That woman was none other than Musa's own mother. And just as Allah had promised, Musa was returned to his mother's arms, and she was paid to care for her own child, right under Pharaoh's nose. Musa grew up in the palace, a strong and wise young man. He was aware of his true identity and felt the pain of his people. One day, he saw an Egyptian soldier mistreating one of the Bani Israel. In an attempt to defend the man, Musa struck the soldier, and to his shock, the blow was fatal. Filled with remorse and fear, Musa knew he had to flee. He escaped Egypt and traveled to a land called Madian. There, tired and alone, he sat by a well where he saw two women struggling to water their flocks, unable to get close because of the crowd of shepherds. Musa, being a man of honor, stepped in and drew water for them. The two women were the daughters of a righteous old man, who some say was the prophet Shuaib. When they told their father about Musa's kindness, he was impressed. He invited Musa to his home, and after hearing his story, he offered him safety, shelter, and the hand of one of his daughters in marriage, in exchange for working for him for several years. Musa agreed, and for about a decade, he lived a peaceful life as a shepherd, a husband, and a father. One cold night, while traveling with his family through the desert, Musa saw a fire burning in the distance on a mountain, Mount Tur. He told his family to wait while he went to get some fire to warm them or perhaps find guidance. As he approached, a voice called out from a blessed tree, "O Musa! Verily, I am Allah, the Lord of the worlds." In that sacred moment, Musa's life changed forever. He was chosen as a prophet. Allah commanded him, "Go to Pharaoh. Indeed, he has transgressed." Musa was hesitant. He had fled Egypt after taking a life and had a speech impediment. He prayed to Allah, "My Lord, expand for me my breast, and ease for me my task, and untie the knot from my tongue, that they may understand my speech." He also asked for his brother, Harun or Aaron, to be his helper, as Harun was more eloquent. Allah granted his requests. Allah also gave Musa two powerful signs, or miracles, to prove his prophethood. First, his staff. When he threw it down, it transformed into a real, slithering snake. Second, his hand. When he placed it inside his garment and drew it out, it shone with a brilliant white light, without any harm. With these divine signs and his brother Harun by his side, Musa returned to Egypt. They went straight to the palace of Pharaoh and delivered their message, "We are the messengers of the Lord of the worlds. Let the children of Israel go with us." Pharaoh, dripping with arrogance, mocked them. "Did we not raise you among us as a child?" He sneered, reminding Musa of the man he had killed. He dismissed their message and demanded a sign. So, Musa threw down his staff, and it became a massive snake. He then drew his hand, and it shone brightly for all to see. Pharaoh's advisors, however, accused Musa of being a skilled magician. Pharaoh, in his pride, decided to challenge Musa to a duel of magic. He gathered all the best magicians from across Egypt for a grand festival day. The stage was set for an epic showdown. On the appointed day, a huge crowd gathered. The magicians of Pharaoh, confident in their abilities, threw their ropes and staffs, and through their trickery, they made them appear as if they were slithering snakes. The crowd was amazed. For a moment, even Musa felt a flicker of fear. But Allah reassured him, "Fear not. Indeed, it is you who are superior. Throw that which is in your right hand, it will swallow up what they have crafted." Musa threw his staff, and it transformed into a real, gigantic serpent that devoured all the illusions of the magicians. The effect was immediate and profound. The magicians, who knew real magic from trickery, instantly understood that this was no illusion. This was a divine miracle. They fell to their knees in prostration and declared, "We believe in the Lord of Harun and Musa." Pharaoh was enraged. He couldn't believe his own magicians had been defeated and had converted. He threatened them with the most brutal punishment, but their faith was now firm. They had seen the truth, and they would not turn back, even in the face of death. Despite this clear sign, Pharaoh's heart remained hard. He refused to let the Bani Israel go. So, Allah sent a series of plagues upon Pharaoh and his people as a warning and a punishment. The Nile's water turned to blood. Swarms of locusts devoured their crops. Outbreaks of lice and frogs tormented them. A suffocating darkness fell over the land, affecting only the Egyptians. Each time a plague struck, a terrified Pharaoh would beg Musa to pray to his Lord to lift the punishment, promising to free the Bani Israel. But as soon as the plague was lifted, his arrogance would return, and he would break his promise. This cycle repeated again and again, yet Pharaoh refused to submit. Finally, after the last plague, Pharaoh seemed to relent. Allah commanded Musa to lead his people out of Egypt under the cover of night. But as soon as they left, Pharaoh, realizing he had lost his entire slave labor force, gathered his massive army and pursued them. The Bani Israel reached the edge of the Red Sea, with the sea in front of them and Pharaoh's army closing in from behind. They were trapped. Panic set in. "We are surely overtaken," they cried. But Musa's faith was unshakable. He stood calmly and said, "No. Indeed, with me is my Lord, he will guide me." At that critical moment, Allah commanded Musa, "Strike the sea with your staff." Musa struck the water, and one of the greatest miracles in history unfolded. The sea parted, creating a dry path through the middle, with towering walls of water on either side. The children of Israel rushed through the path to safety. Pharaoh and his army, blinded by their rage, charged into the same path in pursuit. But once the last of the Bani Israel had reached the other side, Allah commanded the sea to return. The walls of water crashed down, drowning Pharaoh and his entire army. In his final moments, as the water closed over him, Pharaoh desperately cried out, "I believe that there is no deity except that in whom the children of Israel believe, and I am of the Muslims." But it was too late. His repentance at the point of death was not accepted. Allah preserved his body as a sign for future generations, a timeless reminder of the fate of those who defy God. The story of Musa and Pharaoh is a powerful testament to the struggle between faith and tyranny, humility and arrogance. It teaches us that no matter how powerful an oppressor may seem, the power of Allah is greater. It shows us that with true faith and perseverance, even the impossible can be achieved. Thank you for watching. If this story has inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe for more stories from our rich history. Until next time.